Today I want to talk to you about the future of cold email. This is coming from somebody who, in the last 2 weeks, has sent 750,000 cold emails on one campaign. If I click onto another one, um, we send 300,000, so that's a million every 2 weeks. So 500,000 emails a week, with like extremely high positive reply rate on that as well. We know what we're doing when it comes to cold email, but this is what I think the future of cold email is going to consist of. There's going to be a couple of big factors that's going to impact it. First one's AI spam filters. One of the things that we're going to have to master, I say we as a collective, but we are going to have to master how to get around AI spam filters. So at the minute, if you send an email, there's multiple filters that are part of that. They check how long your domain's been set up. They check how many emails you've sent. They check how many times you've sent the same email to the same provider. So if you're emailing Google or Microsoft, which you will be, they are keeping a tally of every single total email that you send. Spam words, that's just like basically like a if what filter. If the word free is in there, put it in spam, and so on. Fundamentally, it comes down to a scoring mechanism, and I don't think they're going to get rid of this. I think they will just add the spam filter on top. So at the minute, it's 1 to 10. 10 being like you're going to spam, 1 being like, yeah, perfect. And they're basically like red flags. So let's say you start at the bottom. If you accidentally put the word spam in your email, you'll jump up to 2 points. If your domain's brand new, you'll jump up to 3 points. If you've sent 400 emails that are similar in the last 24 hours, it'll jump up again. And all of a sudden, you just get closer and closer and closer until there's like a solid brick wall where it's like, okay, you are now in spam, and there's not a great deal you can do about it. You can warm them back up, you can get out of it, and there's ways around it, but it's much easier to just avoid it. And at the minute, that's kind of where you have to be. Where I think the spam filter is going to come in is it's going to sit on top of that. So you'll still have that pre-screening. Like, for example, when they brought out the intent kind of filters and stricter filters, they didn't go, we'll scrap the word filters to be like, okay, well, somebody's put the word free in there. Or spam, ironically, is a spam word. Um, they didn't go, oh, we'll just scrap that. Forget it. Like, not a problem anymore. We've got these new things. They just built on top of it. So you still need to avoid these spam keywords in order to not do that. If you want to know how to do that, there's loads of tools out there. Mail Meteor's spam checker. I don't actually know where it is on here. If you put, yeah, basically on here, resources. Basically, it's in there. I'll put the link in the comments. But basically, you can check for spam words and filter them out and don't use them. With this filter sat on top, you're going to need to convince AI that the owner of this inbox needs to read this email. Once he's got through all of the other spam things, I mean, I think it will arrive to the spam filter. I'd be surprised if Google and Microsoft don't roll this out imminently to say they've got their own AIs. But it will read it and say, okay, I think before it gets to that, there's like a 50% chance this email is spam. And then anything that they read that's like sales intent, they're just spam. I think there's going to be a couple of ways to get around this. And to be fair, you can't test it yet because we haven't got this problem. But saying things like, thank you for your time and stuff like that, I imagine will help persuade the AI that your email should be in the main primary inbox. Another thing to factor in here is like it's going to be biased towards putting things in the inbox because the last thing you want is an email that was important to land in spam. And I think they're going to have to factor in things like attachments, files, folders, links, stuff like that, that actually is like a big no-no in the cold email world. But if you're doing it from a place of like, okay, well, I can read this document and see what's in here and whether or not it is actually spam and determine from that, it's actually beneficial to the email providers for you to send an attachment. So it's just how they de-risk that and look at elements of like, okay, well, we still need to check that this isn't a virus or a bug or like somebody's going to lose all of their personal information because we've let it go through. So there's a couple of things to factor in, but fundamentally, the next bottleneck is going to be okay. How do you make spam filters look like how are your emails going to read as if they need to be in that primary inbox? There'll be tricks, there'll be all sorts to try, but that's going to be one that in fact, we are actively thinking about, okay, how do we solve this problem? I also think they will roll it out slowly. They normally test it on a handful of inboxes and then like a handful more and a handful more, and then before you know it, the whole infrastructure's gone to it. Our saving grace might be the fact that people don't want their personal emails proofreading by AI. So yeah, Copilot was in trouble the other day because it turned out, oh no, yeah, Toz, we have actually been letting AI read all of your emails, and potentially it wasn't as secure as we initially thought. So I think there's going to be a bit of like tread carefully, and there's also going to be a cost aspect to this. Hence why I think they're still going to approach it with like the old filters first on top. Um, but yeah, that's one thing that's going to change. I do think the infrastructures are going to get more and more complicated. At the minute, we're using a mix of I'll put infrastructures on here just so you can have brilliant. You can have something to look at. Yeah, I'll set it up. So we are testing a variety of different things: SMTP, Google, Microsoft, and so on. Weirdly enough, Google and Microsoft don't like each other. So if you're emailing Google from Google, you will get in the inbox more times than if you're Googling Microsoft to Google. Don't ask me why. I don't make the rules. That's how it works. If we look at our bounced email rate from Google ones, the majority of them are Microsoft, and it will just say straight up they were refused into the inbox. So yeah, that's something else to think about. With the variations of like spin tax and stuff like that, that's another one that's going to come up time and time again. Is like, how can you do smart AI? I'll just put this personalization. How are you going to make AI emails feel like they're actually supposed to be for that person and like a genuine feel? The big kicker with this is that the emails and personalization don't need to be as crappy as hi name, insert compliment. It can be as simple as like, this tool will save you time. Therefore, with this extra time, you can do Y. So instead of it being like, oh, you're a founder of a startup company, this tool will help your team free up 20 hours, which means you can concentrate on raising funds. Like, that's a pain point for them, which then makes that email feel personalized without it being like, hi, Steve, I saw you started the company in 2007. Well done. I really like it. Like, everyone's just like, that's just weird. So you need to think around that. Like, there's going to be loads of really, really clever ways that you can get AI to personalize your emails. But fundamentally, it boils down to those three. There's going to be a couple of other changes that come, and the filters are just going to get more and more strict, but there's more and more clever ways to warm these emails up. One of the other things I didn't know and was recently shown to me was Microsoft has a filter for itself and Google based on how much you use things. So, for example, on Google, if you set up a Google account, chances are it might be from some Indian bulk buying company. If you're going through Smartlead or Instantly or any of the other providers, they're all using Indian based email accounts just purely for the price of them. That profile was bought in India, magically transferred over to an IP in the US, or Instantly's IPs are mainly in the US. Plugged in there, set up. It's never been opened. It's not watched a single YouTube video. It's never Googled anything. It's never done anything. Think of all of your Google accounts and like, personally, do you like use the other tools? For Microsoft, have you opened Word? Have you been on PowerPoint? Things like that add to how real and likely they are that those inboxes actually exist. the way we found this out was working with somebody who used to like bulk buy trainers, and one of the ways that they got around the two-factor verification was creating fake movements and kind of stimulating Google to think that their Gmail accounts, and they were using like the free ones, was actually more likely to be a real account because it's been on Google. It's Google thing. It's watched 4 hours of YouTube this week, and it's like done all of these things just on a server in the background, so that Google was more likely to give it the easier captures, which then they could get around easier. So for them, it made sense to run all of that in the background. When you provide that and link that with cold email, it suddenly makes it feel much more real. Oh, okay, hold on a minute. This Google account is on Google. It's watching YouTube videos. Yeah, it's supposed to be Indian, and that's never going to do you any favors. But oh, okay, you are actually watching YouTube. It's in English on a UK or American IP address. It's going to increase your likelihood of landing in somebody's inbox tenfold. So next time you're kind of thinking around this, AI is just going to get more and more complicated with this kind of stuff. And if you can help it by personalizing, you kind of got to play both sides. You know that Microsoft and Google, which is like 80+% of the inboxes, are going to be putting these things in place to stop you. How can you use AI to kind of counter that? And that's where the magic happens, and just kind of overlap that. I do think there will be a day where cold email just won't work. I genuinely do. I think it's on a timeline. I think it's going to come to an end. Does that mean it'll be the end of it? No, probably not. SMS has taken off in the last couple of years. WhatsApp and AI WhatsApp has drastically took off as well. It doesn't matter how you get these messages in front of people. It's more about kind of getting these messages in front of people. That's what you have got to kind of try and succeed on. But yeah, that is my words of warning. Just keep your eye out and see what happens.